The order.
Mr. Speaker.
Kanwal Singh Bakshi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak during the general debate. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I would like to congratulate all the fellow Kiwis on the new lunar year. So this is a time when we all celebrate Lunar New Year. And yesterday, Gong Shi Fa Chai, and yesterday we celebrated in the Parliament, and we are attending lots of functions around the country. Mr. Speaker, the Sydney siege highlighted for us in this part of the world that New Zealand cannot be considered immune to the dangers posed by the terrorism. Due to our distance, we may be a bit far away. However, our geographical positioning is by no means an excuse for us to take a lackluster approach. Our leader, Right Honourable John Key, outlined yesterday the brutal and unfortunate realities of ISIL. Some of the recent events further highlighted the threat of ISIL poses from beheading of journalists who are only on the ground to report on the current situations in that region. The kidnapping of the hostages are some of the many serious threats that we have to keep in mind when we discuss a serious, complex decision that the government announced yesterday. Mr. Speaker, as we have seen that young 3 teenager girls have just left UK and gone to join the ISIS terrorists in Syria, it is a very serious thing which we need to understand, that those guys are influencing the young generation and asking them to join in Middle East and create a threat. The world has over the past months witnessed the ability of ISIL to attract, train and keep motivated foreign fighters. Further, as an organization, they are well armed and have access to constant funds, flow of the funds to them. Anyone who is, despite knowing all the above details, still feels that ISIL is not a threat needs to re-examine their facts. Based on the facts available, am of the firm opinion that ISIL is threat not just to the peace and stability in the Middle East, but as a region globally. We live in an interconnected world, Mr. Speaker, and we have to play an active part while ensuring that New Zealand's interests are taken care of. As Mr. Prime Minister mentioned today during the question time, New Zealand's approach is that we have to be part of humanitarian, diplomatic, and capacity building exercise in the region. By doing so, Mr. Speaker, we are standing by the values of New Zealanders. We are taking the righteous decision of helping support the rule of law internationally. Furthermore, we are only doing on the request of the Iraqi government, who has time and again sought international assistance towards ensuring safety and security of its citizens. Mr. Speaker, while I'm speaking about the law of rule internationally, I want to focus on New Zealand. I was pleased to take over as the chair of Law and Order Select Committee. Prime Minister recently set better public services targets, and I'm pleased that we are on track to achieve those. Crime rate is the lowest in last 3 decades. People feel safe at home, at work, and at streets. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to share the announcement made by Honourable Michael Woodhouse, increasing the minimum wage from $14.25 to $14.75 from 1st April 2015. Mr. Speaker, I think the wage rise strikes perfect balance between the needs of employees and the ability of the employers to pay. This is what we can call a win-win situation. The annual inflation figure stands at 0.8%, while the minimum wage rise is by 3.5%. This will directly benefit 115,000 workers and lead to increase wages of $60 million a year. This once again shows, Mr. Speaker, that we are listening closely to the needs of the stakeholders and we are making decisions based on their needs. Another example that I can share here, Mr. Speaker, is that government is listening to the community and the decision by the Minister of Ethnic Communities and Pacific.
The member's time has expired. Paul Fosterbell.
Thank you very much, Mr.